Okay, so I created a new document and I'm going to come over here and just try and bring the instructions up. Now you don't have to follow these exactly. It says Control N to create a new document. You can just do File a new document. Okay, so some of the things you know how to do, you do not have to follow their instructions exactly how they have them laid out. All I can see is your paths. I don't know how you got the paths there, whether you followed their instructions or not. So it basically tells you, hey, we're going to be drawing some carrots, and it tells you what color the carrots are going to be. So you might as well set that color right now. So I'm going to double click on this. I have no objects or paths selected, so this is going to be pretty easy. So my red's 245, my green's 128, and my blue is 37. So this is the orange for the carrot. It's telling you to draw an ellipse roughly this size and shape. Okay, when you're drawing, students tend to draw this very large. Now you can draw this entire thing and then you can size it down. So I'm going to draw one carrot. I'm going to get all the parts of the carrot, and then I'm certainly going to size it down according to how it wants it in the outcome. My carrot is very small in the outcome, and you can imagine the planter is in front of the carrot on the layer stack. Okay, so I'm going to follow these. It says then take the direct select tool and select the left and right anchor points and move them upwards. This gets a little bit confusing. It's telling you select these two anchor points. On ellipse, by default, I have 4 anchor points. So I have to go to my direct select tool and I can just arrow over these two. Now it turned this one white, this one's white, and these two are the blue. I could have shift clicked on one or clicked one and shift clicked on the other. But it's just asking you to pull them upward, straight up, till it looks like a carrot. So that's basically what it's asking there. You don't have to be exact on this. I'm pretty forgiving on your first assignment. I know if you skip steps, and I know if you didn't even try, trust me. But it doesn't have to be exactly the same width as this one or anything like that. Okay, now it's telling you to pick the pencil tool and to set the color to a little bit darker orange. You want to make sure that you click off of this before you reset any coloring. One thing it did not tell us on this is I have a black stroke on my carrot. Do they have a black stroke on their carrot? No. So I'm going to take that stroke off. The other thing is I'm probably only going to draw one carrot. They have 5 of them in their planter, but I'm just going to copy these. These look exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to go back down and see if I can see my color options. Again, I'm going to click off before I reset this color. Otherwise, I'm going to change the color of my carrot. So 221, 93, and 5. Here's my darker orange. Okay. I'm going to grab the pencil tool. The pencil tool is underneath your shape tool. It's the second one, so you do have to hold it down before you select it. Do these have to be exact? Oh gosh, no. Just put some markings on it. I'm going to twirl this down because I think nope, I thought I clicked down here. When you have a tool like this and you accidentally click somewhere, it will draw it there. So be careful of that. I kind of look at your paths when you're done to see if you have a bunch of minor paths. Okay, my color selection changed again. I was talking and clicking and I lost my color that I keyed in. So I'm going to get that back in here. I'm going to pause it so you don't have to watch that. Now remember, even though I drew them all without a stroke, you can select them later and add a stroke color to it. In fact, I just added the wrong stroke color to this. 221, 93, 5. Jeez, I'm having all kinds of hard times talking today and doing what I need to do. Okay, my pen tool is kind of acting up. Hopefully you won't have a problem with yours as well. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. Like I said, you can recolor it later. Okay, the second part of this, I need to make sure that you understand when it's drawing the top of this, the green part of the carrot here. I'm going to move this over Okay, I was just reading the instructions really quick. So I'm going to click off and I'm going to set it to the green color that they want. They want 141, 139, and 0. So close enough, a green color. I'm going to draw over here on the side to illustrate this pencil tool. You have to be careful because when you're drawing in Illustrator with the pencil tool, mine is defaulting to no fill, and I'm not really sure why. I'm going to have to figure that out. Oh, I don't want fill. I actually want to change the stroke color. Sorry, that's why mine's messing up. I'm just going to put a green in here. Okay. It does ask you to increase the stroke on this one as well. So if I click off, I have this green line. So if I go back to my pencil tool though, and I draw off of this line, because that's kind of what they have going here. Okay, it's not doing it anymore. Okay, see how it just flipped? If you have the line highlighted and you draw off that line, it'll redraw the line. But if you draw on a line that's not selected, it'll just draw the thing. So be careful as you're doing this. You either have to make sure nothing's selected, and you could do deselect. So Control D is another thing. It's kind of like clicking off. Deselect, Shift Control A. Sorry, it's different in Photoshop than it is in here. So when you're drawing this, let me go get the right color. This is our fill color, the first one that we see here. The second one is the stroke, and I'm going to go put the correct color into this. So 141, 139, hopefully it'll keep this color. I think this last one was 5. Okay, so I have my pencil tool, the stroke is 2. You do not have to draw this exactly as long as your carrot has some lines coming off of it. If you start drawing these lines on other lines, you're not going to run into that problem. But if you draw any of them off of a selected line, it's going to redraw. Here, I'll try one right there. See how it redrew the line? So be careful if you just go back and forth on this, and I honestly don't really care if this is perfect or not, which it's not going to be. It's a carrot. Okay, so just a couple tricks to help you out with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select my entire carrot. It's perfect. I have it exactly how I want it. I'm going to group this. Look how many paths we needed to draw this. And I also have this little piece in there, which I'm going to delete in a second. I'm going to group this. I'm going to delete what I was practicing on over here. Now I'm going to double click and I'm going to call this carrot. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you group things together as you're going through this. Now that I have this carrot in a group, I can just move the entire thing around. I'm going to hold my Shift key to keep the constraints, but I'm going to make this carrot smaller because I have to have 5 of these. I'm not going to draw 5 of them. With my group selected, I'm going to hold down my Alt key and I'm just going to bring 5 of them across. And you know what? Even if just 4 of them fit into your, they don't have to be perfectly aligned or anything like that. So you can use some of the things you've learned through the lecture to get through this. I would definitely follow as much as the instructions as you can. So you're going to have to resize objects. Obviously that's going to have to be resized to fit your carrots. If you thought this was a pretty good proportion for your carrots, you could always resize everything at the end to be, and like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. It just can't have one very large carrot covering up everything that's in here. So obviously this planter that you have here has to be higher in the stack in order to cover up the carrots. Otherwise the carrots are going to show up on the outside of the planter. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to have, like I said, a lot of groups in here. I have now 4 carrots. Once you put the planter on this, if you wanted to group all 4 carrots and the planter and call it something else, you can. You can have groups within groups to keep things organized. If you didn't want to group it to the, I definitely would group the carrot at least so that you didn't accidentally move the back of the carrot without the greens and stuff like that. You will get frustrated a few times as you're going through this, especially if you've never used Illustrator before. I highly recommend that after you get something correct, save your document. You don't want to wait till you've gone through 25 pages of this to save it. Anything can happen, and you know what? You'd have to redraw it if something happened. So make sure that you save this periodically. You can always just delete a grouping or paths and just go back and start that section over if you think you've completely screwed it up. Okay, you could highlight the whole thing and just delete whatever parts you wanted. So take your time. This is, like I said, one of the longest assignments we had. If you get really stuck, these are all separate pieces, pretty much separate pieces. I mean, if you're stuck on the tree, just skip to the next part. It might be the birdhouse, it might be the fence that you have down here. So you can continue. Make sure you check your document when you get to these two objects down here, the garden utensils, because there's something tricky going on with those, but it's all lined up in the Word document. So check your hints first, and if you still can't figure it out, most certainly email me. When you email me, make sure you attach your document. When I look at your document, I can give you more direct instructions.